Young people today are finding their voices in light of the death of Michael Brown at the hands of Officer Dan Wilson. They are looking to provide a creative voice to address issues beyond the race baiting in which the media portrays and plays us all. Today, we will hear from three young African American males who are of the Christian tradition who will share their vision and hope in their Hands Up, Don't Shoot campaign. Please stay tuned. Welcome to Perspectives on Faith and Culture. I am Karen Crozier, your host, and today I'm joined by Rashawn M., who is the he is co-founder of We Free, Ko, who is the artist and co-founder of We Free, as well as L. Pimba, who is an activist. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
You are welcome. So please, as we get into your Hands Up, Don't Shoot campaign and how you have found purpose, please share about what brought you to this place in your own path to develop this campaign, beginning with you, Rashawn.
I would say, actually, I was inspired by my brother, giving thanks to God, who blessed us with the vision. But I was inspired by my brother. My brother walked in the studio. We were shooting a video for another song, and we overheard a beat playing, and we were drawn to the beat, and we walked in the studio, kind of stopped shooting, walked in the studio, and my brother was just captivated by the beat, and the producer said, "Hey, you know what? I'll bless you with this beat. I'll just give you the beat." And from then on, it was really like my brother, I guess God gave him the words, and visually, I just took it from there. So I would say that definitely I was driven by my brother and inspired by my brother and God to start off this piece. So that's why.
Yes, Kayo.
I would say it was definitely God because he's the one that gave me the words. I was actually, after I got the beat, I had wrote a whole separate song for the whole beat, and I was gonna record that, and I actually forgot my flash drive at my house, so I had to go all the way back to my house. But on the way to my house, I was thinking, and I came up with this song, and I was like, dang, that's totally different. So on the way to my house, I actually came up with the concept and everything. And it was just God, he just blessed me, and then it turned out to be one of my biggest songs.
Definitely.
Yeah, so.
Thank you. And L?
I think for me, I was having a conversation with a pastor, Pastor Jones, and I was talking about how there is a lack of leadership and a lack of activism going on in our community today. And then I was expecting a different answer from him, and then he looked straight at me, and he's like, "What are you doing about it?" And then I was like, well, I have bills, I have a job, I got things to do. He's like, well, what if Martin Luther King, Gandhi, and all those people had bills and all other things to do? So I was really taken back by that. And then after a few minutes, and then after I heard about Ko and what he was doing with his music and with this campaign, I basically was like, you know what? Let me hop on board. And that's basically how I was called.
So you were called upon in the midst of you inquiring about what was not the case, and then you were the one that had to step up.
Yes.
Wow, I'm glad you said yes. So for the viewing audience, share more. What is the Hands Up, Don't Shoot campaign? What does it entail? Let's begin with you, Ko.
It's a campaign that basically we're trying to break barriers and between African American young men, and not just young men, just African Americans period, and other ethnicities, and the police. I think the media is playing a large role in playing us versus each other. So the whole thing was basically to get rid of that barrier that the media has created, and you can elaborate more on that.
I would say, going off of what Ko said, definitely trying to break the barrier in between two worlds. And trying to allow people to understand, hey, not all cops or police officers are bad, and yet not all African American men or people of color or people in general are criminals. So it's trying to break the barrier to where when you approach a police officer, it's not, it's like, you know, scared. And then the police officer's not looking at you like, what do you want? You know what I mean? So we're trying to like crush this wall, and it's a very thick wall. Visually, that's what was inspired by my brother and I. And
well, share more. You are co-founders of We Free,
Right.
and you are artists. So
Right.
share more about what role does art and music and other aspects of production play in your Hands Up, Don't Shoot campaign?
A large role. Creative-wise, well, as far as We Free, the company that my brother and I have, to be able to bless others with visuals and photos and what have you for free. Other than that, like as far as just our voice, I'm an artist, my brother's an artist, and that's just how we kind of get our voice out there, and God blesses us with visions. And before, my brother and I used to always fight and argue. We would never get along, like never. Like it would always be over the smallest things. But now, you know, I love him. You know what I mean? but no, we get along really well. But definitely, production plays a large role on my side. It is really inspired by my brother on the music side. Music and video
Go hand in hand.
pretty much. That's how I look at it. So yeah.
So that's the music and the production.
The music and the production
artists.
and the artistry. It's like.
We use art as it's a ministry. The whole thing
Right,
is a ministry.
yeah.
It's a way of touching people.
Right.
And a lot of people use art as a negative way. I mean, either way, it's going to make an impact on someone's life.
Right.
So it's how are you going to use it? Art is a really big tool that, if whether people know it or not, I memean, worldly artists and everybody, you know, uses some form of art. And we just use the talents that God has blessed us with to be able to reach out to other people
Right.
and minister.
So, El, as an activist, how does this Hands Up, Don't Shoot campaign, what does it entail for you, and what do you see it accomplishing?
I think for me, the most important thing regarding this campaign was being able to bring everybody together. In the video, we had students from Fresno State, Fresno City, Fresno Pacific. Mm-hmm. We had business owners, we had teachers, we had so many people involved, so many people from different backgrounds, and being able to see the whole community basically support us and be like, yeah, we agreed. Why didn't you guys do this sooner? Or where were you guys all this time?
Yes,
so
definitely.
that for me, I was kind of like taken back to see like everybody was thinking it. Everybody wanted somebody to stand up and speak up. So that initiative wasn't there initially until KO was inspired with the words, and then Rashawn came with the idea as far as like, okay, how do we present this to the world? And then to just be able to be there and bridge that gap and basically get everybody involved. And not just, because this is not a black or white, no, but it's like something that everybody, whether you're a student, whether you're a parent, everybody is affected by it. And to be able to see everybody involved and everybody just take the message and the video with open arms, like I was really, really taken back by that.
So are you saying on one level, you mentioned the video production. Is the video production the end-all, be-all of how you understand your Hands Up, Don't Shoot campaign, or is it just only the avenue for which you want people to begin to start having those critical conversations and to cross lines? What do you think?
Definitely an avenue. It's not all about the visuals and the production side of it, because it also gives us the opportunity to speak about how we feel about what we created and what we were inspired by, which ultimately, like my brother touched on, is a ministry. We're trying to reach out to people and just share the love of God. So that's what I would hear.
Yeah, it's definitely just a door. This one door, and I wanted to touch back on what El said when he was talking about everybody came together. I mean, it was God opened so many different doors, and like He just blessed us, because it's really good to see, and it's really nice to see the whole community coming. Right. And it's not all about just one person. I mean, the artist or the director or even the activist. It's about all of us coming together and making a huge change. Mm-hmm. And this is just one door that that God's opened, and He's going to open many more for us and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like
I think that's a nice transition to understanding and articulating for the viewing audience. How does your faith, identity, and commitments inform the Hands Up, Don't Shoot campaign? Let's begin with you, El.
I think as far as faith, being able to take care of others, being able to care for others, being able to not sit there and say like, well, I didn't get shot. My brother didn't get shot. Like, yes, I might not know Trayvon, I might not know Mike Brown, but the simple fact that he was created by God and he was put on this earth by God, he affects me because he's my brother. And my call as a Christian, my call is to care for those around me. So when I see that, it still affects us because we are all here for the same purpose.
Right. Thank you for sharing that, brother, because it opens us up to how we are sisters and brothers keepers, regardless whether we knew them or not. And even though none of us probably here on the West Coast had any idea who Michael Brown was, but we know somebody who was a Michael Brown. And it says, how can we care for each other, as well as an officer, Darren Wilson, who had shot him, right? We know officers who have experienced the same thing. And so I thank you for sharing that as far as humanizing and caring for one another. Rashawn, how does your faith inform your commitment to this campaign?
I would say my faith is what I stand on, and it's what keeps me balanced, and it's what keeps me, it allows me to be strong in what I believe in, because anything that I don't know, I try and refer back to the Word, and I'm unsure because I don't know everything, you know. So I would say faith plays a large role in what I'm doing, and in a way, again, I would just say it keeps me balanced. I mean, I would say so that way I'm not choosing sides. So that way I'm not this person or this person, rather than just standing firm on strong foundation, which is the Bible. That's what I would say. So,
yeah, I'm coming from the same avenue. I definitely view as our faith is the whole, like, our rock. We build everything on, our art, everything that we do is based off of our faith. So it's the thing that's keeping us from going, because you can allow your emotions to take over and then definitely go one-sided. And I feel like a lot of people have done that, even people that have faith or aren't rooted in their faith. I mean, they go one-sided, and it allows you to stay, level-headed, and, it tells you what's right, it directs you. So
what does it mean to stay grounded in a reality where we have mostly white officers killing non-white people groups, and you are of a non-white people group? So how do you manage to stay grounded? What does that mean? How does that play out for you?
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
I would say everybody needs prayer. I mean, there are going to be some police officers that do something wrong, but it's not generalizing the whole population of police officers and judging them off of the few that do wrong acts. And I know the media plays a large role in just playing the negative, and I think that we need to take a step back and look at all the positive that police officers have done and all the ones that are doing something right, because you hardly ever hear about police officers actually doing something positive, which they do on a daily basis. So
also, too, to just touch on what he said, when I was editing the piece, I looked up, I was looking up, good footage of police officers doing good deeds, and it was like 10 videos, and 5 to 10 videos, and it was pretty much all repetitive. I looked up white officer shoots black man. It was like 50, 60 videos just available just at the whim, and so I felt like that was just something experience that I had, touching on what he was saying. So
thank you for that comment. We will have to take a break right now. We will come back and look at that disproportionate representation of cops, and that perpetuates the fear and exploitation. We'll be back after the break.
KNXT thanks all its loyal viewers and respected businesses who have supported your Catholic television station. Now you can support KNXT with program underwriting by having your name, your company's name, or organization associated with your favorite program. Detailed information about you or your company will appear before and after each program or day part you select. Keep the quality and spiritual message alive and make a difference. Call 559-488-7440 today, or go online at knxt.tv to find out more about program underwriting on KNXT.
Back Perspectives on Faith and Culture. And today, my guests are Rashawn M., as well as KO and L. Pema, as we're discussing their Hands Up, Don't Shoot campaign. Before the break, we were discussing how you are able to stay grounded as Christian young men today in light of the disproportionate number of apparent shootings of law enforcement on non-white people groups. And you brought up how the fear and the exploitation continues to perpetuate, and how the media only hypes up the bad, but not so much the good that took place in your video, in your search. Share more about what do you consider to be at the core of the fear and the exploitation. Elle, we can start with you on that.
I think at the core of all of these problems that our communities and societies facing is basically money. Because if we think about it, the media wants to portray all these images and wants to do all this and basically pin us one against each other because drama sells, because they want rating, they want people to watch, but these are people's lives that are being lost. These are people's, whether you're a cop or whether you're a victim of police brutality, you are a person. These cops have families, these cops have people that they go home to. So when we go away from actually telling the actual stories and try to find solutions, but we make news more about drama and more about ratings than actually stating facts and actually telling stories about how the police officer who shot somebody is affected, or how mentally, like how healthy is their mental state after such an incident. But instead, we want to focus on whose background is what, who did what, so that way people can watch. And then after we watch, everybody goes back and have dinner and life goes on. And then tomorrow, we're expecting the same exciting, somebody got shot by a cop. Oh my God, like I was supposed to actually sit in there and be like, okay, somebody keeps getting shot. What's going on with people keep getting shot? What's going on with these officers being in areas of poverty, correct? So the cops are constantly on alert because in the areas that they live, people don't have nothing to do. They don't have schools, they don't have jobs, they don't have nothing to do. So they go ahead and use violence as a mean of way of life because there's nothing else to do. So there's money, there's poverty, and there are all these other small issues that needs to be addressed before we can even sit back and be like, okay, racism is the problem in America. No, money is the problem, class is the problem, and the media is not doing anything to help. If anything, they are hurting the situations, they are hurting the relationships by the way that they go about covering the news.
Right, so you're saying the very narrow way in which the media capitalizes off of these various incidents does not help us to heal and to come together as a society. KO, what is your perspective on the fear and exploitation?
I definitely agree with Elle, and then to elaborate more, I feel like the media not only doesn't help, but I feel like they do the exact opposite, which is because they're making profit off of views and things like that. So what they do, if certain demographic sees only negative about African American men on their TV, you're gonna assume when you walk past them that they're dangerous. The same thing with the police officer. If I only see police officers killing African American men, I'm gonna look at my skin and oh, I'm African American, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, well that means they're a threat to me. So that's totally, it's totally playing one against the other, and then using that to get more ratings and to get more of this, and it's all focused on, and I said it in the song, it's all focused and surrounded by money. Money is the root to it. So I feel like it's not racism. Racism is a small part of the problem that's in in America, and money is a huge issue that we have, I feel.
These guys, that's why I hang out with them. They say pretty much everything. But I would say that definitely it's money, and I feel like what's being portrayed is that when you have plenty of money, it solves all problems. Or when you have more things, it's putting, like the media places value on things that don't really matter. You know what I mean? And when the things that do matter are Christ, God, And so Elle made a statement saying that we're playing with people's lives. And they're playing with people's lives, which is I agree with, and they're also playing with people's souls. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we're kind of like not focusing on the right thing. We're distracted, you know, from the most important thing in life.
Yeah, so I see that's part of what your Hands Up, Don't Shoot campaign and
Right.
video production projects different values.
Right.
And different images of who we can be as a society that's a counter narrative or a different narrative than what our dominant media wants to portray. And so when we look at that and saying that, wow, is it really classism or is it really money? Who holds the money? In your opinions, who is controlling the money bags? Is it black people? Is it brown people? How would you define that? And so would race be totally eliminated, or would race be need to be understood within the context of other dimensions as well in what you're trying to accomplish?
I think for me, money is the problem. But who's holding the money is not the problem.
Okay.
The problem is the fact that people don't know enough about God, or the fact that people don't hear enough about God. So we're here basically fighting this fight. We don't know what the solutions are, and nobody wants to know because the media keeps us so distracted that nobody has the time to actually sit there and be like, am I my brother's keepers? Or all these questions. So we are so distracted by the media that the world would be better off if they'll just like take maybe a day off. Just give us a day off and let us try to figure it out ourselves.
Take the day off.
Well, one of our associate deans at another institution had a sign up that said you need to kill your TV. And so, so it's not only a day off for him,
Seriously,
it was like
TV,
a total fast.
TV is definitely, one, is a big distraction to our society. But secondly, it keeps us from the things that matter, because now we're preaching to these kids that you need all these physical things. We're preaching to all these people, black is bad, white is good. You got all these things and all these notions that are basically because of TV. Now you have girls here that thinks they have to look a certain way, be a certain way because of TV. So if you could kill your TV, that would definitely help. Content.
Yeah, content.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
You want to add?
Oh, no, I was just saying, I agree with everything
Certain
he was saying.
contents on TV.
But he was saying TV, and I said definitely content on TV is the thing that I feel like is driving people certain ways for the purpose of money.
It's and money is not walking around with a spear. I mean, money is not evil. It's greed, and it's people wanting more. We're based off of, if I have more, then I'm better than you. And it's not what it should be. Is if I have more, I need to give you some, or I should, out of love, here's something. Let me help you out. And I feel like that's the main thing that our country is missing is love. I mean,
definitely, it's love, because the love is directed towards money instead of the true deeper thing, which should be God. So I feel like that's definitely. I was just thinking that. See, that's my brother.
I got you.
So it also has to do with, thank you for bringing that, because the Bible says not the love of money, it's the so our anticipation, wanting more, is the root of all evil. Not money in and of itself.
Not money, but the love.
Right. Our love, our lust, our unnecessary desires and longing for this tool that God never meant to make it an idol, right? And so, and I think that's what Jesus was saying, as well as in the Gospels, that you can't serve both God and mammon. So thank you for articulating how God calls us to be in right relationship with money and not to be slaves to it. And how do we allow those values of what God calls us to be? When we look at your campaign, who do you want to participate in the campaign in a minute or less from your perspective?
Honestly, this is for everybody. It's not for a specific demographic, age group. It's for everybody, and I believe it's displayed in the visuals as well, as well as the song. So within my quick response, I would say everybody. There's not one person that we're excluding from this campaign.
I would say, well, what he just said. I mean, we're here, but yeah, definitely everybody. I would like everybody to listen because I feel like it's a message that needs to get across to everybody. It's not just you know, a single demographic.
Anything you would like to add?
Yeah, everybody, but also I think it's far overdue. These are conversations that we need to have, whether it's college students, whether it's, we need to be able to have these conversations because otherwise we're not going to find any solutions because everybody's too busy.
So identify the next steps in 30 seconds or less of how people can get involved with your campaign. So this is the net is being thrown wide.
That's why.
Yeah, so how can people get involved?
I'll start with my brother. Go ahead.
I was going to let you kick
Okay. How can people get involved? Okay, I would say by doing. If you want to get involved with us specifically, to contact us. And but as far as just doing, like with my brother and I, God called us to do it, and we weren't scared. We just jumped out and did it. Leap of faith. By having faith and creating a relationship with Christ, having faith and just doing it. And my brother and I quit both our jobs, and we just went in, and God called us to do something, and we completely left fear behind us and just went forward.
Well, great. Well, thank you for being on the show. For today, I trust that our viewing audience will get in touch with you. Your information will be on the website, and we look forward to learning more about your video production and the campaign in the future. Thanks for being on the show. Thank you for watching. Take care, and God bless.